How are you?
Hey, Sal. Good to talk to you.
Good. Just signing on live. I just want to welcome everybody in, including yourself. How was your weekend? Hope you had a good weekend. You, Laura, and everybody that's watching.
I'm enjoying the retirement lifestyle here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada.
Good for you. Very good. We're listening to Laura. She's called in a few times, helps out the homeless here in Las Vegas. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the Nancy Guthrie, but we're going to go over the porch guy, the perp. We're going to go over about 10 different times and things that I picked up on. Laura and everybody in the chat, good evening. I want you guys to take a very close look at the porch guy. I'm not going to have any volume. And we're going to go back because my sources are telling me that the FBI has new video, but they're not going to show it for the obvious reasons. Laura, what would you think why the FBI is not going to show the new video that they perhaps have to the public? What would you be your thoughts?
Well, I am a huge consumer of true crime genre literature and books. And if you remember back to Richard Ramirez the Night Stalker, there was a famous case where somebody announced what shoes the Night Stalker was wearing based on tread patterns.
Right.
And immediately the Night Stalker changed out his shoes. So I think the concern would be is if you announce to the public anything that could identify the porch guy, from his 5'11 jeans to his Ozark hiker backpack,
right,
or the tread pattern on his shoes, the consequence of that might be to alert the public. The other consequence would be that he's now no longer going to be wearing.
Very good. Hypothetical, what if, just saying, he had a red Corvette? Just saying, and they announced that they had that red Corvette. Well, that red Corvette license plates will be destroyed within 5 minutes because the perp is watching all these live streams, including the social media. So, interesting. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to go over some of the video. And I watched it, Laura. I'm sure you have, and everybody on here, so many times. But I missed some things. You know, when you go back after, 170 days, ladies and gentlemen, you pick up on things that you might miss. And I think the FBI, I believe, Laura, in the chat, real quick, Laura, and you can respond. I believe that it's a cold case. However, hold on, let me continue. But a whole new team has come into play, like broke that whole puzzle up, and now they're putting it back together. When I say today, they probably started it at maybe 2 months ago. What's your thoughts, Laura? We're listening to Laura. She lives in Las Vegas, psychologist.
We are now at the 170-day mark. So technically, officially, we are now considering this a cold case. I think they have exhausted most of their obvious leads, and now they're just sorting and picking through, various call-ins or chasing down long shots, interviewing, neighbors at a distance. They're desperately looking for anything or everything. And, unfortunately, it looks like, for the moment, Nancy is lost.
Yeah, we're gonna chit chat a little bit and discuss, and then I'm gonna play the video. Unfortunately, I can't play the video and talk to you, but don't go anywhere yet. And then we're gonna watch it a few times, and then love you to call back. Not just yet, and I love to hear from everybody in the chat because it's about 40 seconds. It's not long, and I know we've all watched it, but I want everybody to watch it with no sound and just watch things that I picked up. And I know, Laura, I've asked you this before. Who would be this relaxed? Why would somebody be this relaxed? And what was he looking for? And, what was he looking for? When I say looking for, let's watch it very slowly in a few minutes. Not quite yet. Wait for some more to come in. But I say he was looking in the house. And you'll say, wait a minute, what do you mean? But we're going to go over that.
Yes, he may have been peering through a glass panel alongside the door. He may have been ringing the doorbell even to see if potentially Nancy might come and answer her door. It's just pure speculation, and he didn't seem to arrive unprepared. For example, why would he not bring a can of spray paint to obliterate the camera?
Right.
Why is he waving plant material around? So there is an element of planning. Since he was there on January 11th, there's an element of lack of planning since he's waving plant material around. At times he seems organized, oddly alert at 2:30 in the morning, and then oddly relaxed. So this is definitely an interesting paradox of conflicting clues.
And how many cases has, I'm going to ask you, Laura, and the whole chat, how many cases, and thank you, Sam, for the donation, how many cases have we seen a burglary go up with a backpack? I mean, just based on facts, if you go back just 10 years, 20 years, Laura, in the chat, how many people would walk up to a house if they were going to burglarize with a backpack, as well as being loaded, in a backpack?
Well, yes. Now, if you propose a hypothetical scenario of burglary, which is one scenario possibly, then in that scenario, the backpack could be interpreted as a bag full of bags. That what he's got in his backpack is additional bags to help carry loot. So he's got a collection of bags in there, and he's going to be inside the house for 40 minutes, ransacking the drawers, demanding that Nancy produce her cash and valuables.
Right.
And in that scenario, the puzzle left is, okay, but why did he take Nancy?
Right.
Or why did he take her physically?
Physically. Hold that thought, though. Wait, can we, excuse me 1 second. I hate to interrupt you. Let's go back 10 seconds, though. I know you say 40 seconds, and you're correct. We're all correct. But what I'm hearing now from a former FBI friend of mine, that's not adding up. They're saying it's less than 40 seconds. Or excuse me, 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I'm sorry. You said 40 minutes. They're saying it now. It's not even adding up. It could be 16 minutes. But nonetheless, that could be a difference between 40 to 6. We're talking 20, 25 minutes difference. Have you heard that as well?
Yeah. So Google Nest door cameras are not perpetually on. They actually have an infrared motion detector.
Uh-huh.
And so there is a time when the camera switched on because the infrared motion detector would have been triggered. And then there was a time when Nancy's pickmaker would have disconnected. And most of us are interpreting that as the time when this crime was in progress.
Right.
So that time frame would be approximately more or less 40 minutes.
40 minutes, right.
Yes.
So,
and what was going on during that 40-minute time frame
right.
to the burglary?
What were they doing for 40 minutes? Right.
If that person, if Porch Guy was utilizing that 40 minutes inside Nancy's house to commit a burglary, then the backpack presumably would have been a bag of other bags. A burglary kit,
right.
A bag full of additional bags of which he is going to carry out anything and everything that he's stealing. And the question becomes is, yes, but then why did he not simply abandon Nancy there?
Exactly.
Why would he then take Nancy if this was a burglary?
Right.
And that would certainly be the outstanding paradox, the puzzle, and the piece that doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Excuse me 1 second, Laura. Yes, hey, welcome in, Diane Phoenix. Yes, I did see Brian Inton today. Interesting comment. Brian Inton was on today with a former FBI friend of his. They were chit-chatting there, and he was also discussing if that he believes it's also a cold case, Laura. We're listening to Laura, who's a well, you're retired now, retired psychologist, and was nice enough to come on once again, so we say welcome in Laura. But Brian Inton had speaking of retired Laura, FBI, he says he would start new, and he thinks they are, Laura. He thinks they're brought in a whole new team, young ages, older ages, break that puzzle all together and just start from new. Because a lot of times he was saying, I believe, the former FBI, even himself, had made mistakes and just thought one thing and blocked everything else out. That he thought it was the best way just to start all new. Do you agree with that? I mean...
Well, getting new eyes on the case couldn't hurt at this point.
Right.
I mean, obviously we'd love to have Nancy found, and we'd really like to know what happened. I'm sure the family would love to know what happened to their loved one.
Yeah, I agree. So I tell you what we're going to do, Laura. I would love you to call back if you're not too busy. I'm going to show this video a few times, maybe 5 to 8 different times, slow motion. If you have a few minutes, and that goes for everybody on here, and welcome in, chat. We'll digest and see if anybody on here can pick something new. I know a lot of you have seen it probably 100 different times. But let's watch slow motion with no sound, and let's see, is there something we miss? And meanwhile, I believe that the FBI probably have this now in color, and they might have another, what I'm hearing, perhaps another 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, Laura, into the chat, a new image. So I think they're working very hard, and they're getting very close to breaking this case. And I think I agree with that former FBI. I think you have a whole new team in there, Laura.
Very likely.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to have you call back as soon as we're finished and get your perspective along with the chat. How's that? Is that okay with you, Laura?
Perfect.
All right, let's do that. Talk to you in a few minutes. All right, so we're going to kick back, folks, and we're going to watch this video. 1 second, real quick. I just want to welcome in everybody. I know we had a... I didn't get a chance to welcome everybody in. Once again, I'm Sal Capano, if it's your first time here. What are you waiting for? Like and subscribe. As we're breaking down to Nancy Guthrie, at the end of the day, we help out the homeless in Las Vegas, so we greatly appreciate your support. We're going to watch the video, and yes, I did watch the Brian Itton. It was interesting with the FBI. He does a great job, Brian Itton. I applaud him. But I also talked to an FBI friend. He also agrees that he thinks that they're breaking it all down. They got a new team investigating on it. Might be a few of the original ones. And they're analyzing the porch guy, the perp. Now, I've also, hey, Mike, all the evidence that could have been found is now gone or destroyed. Yeah, and that's an interesting comment. So it's almost like that puzzle that I continue to say. And then break that puzzle together and start new. It's hard to do that, guys. Very hard. All right, so we're going to watch this right here. 1 second here. Let me just get us up. I like to do the vertical. Sometimes we can just see it in a different angle. Where was I? Give me 1 second. I think I lost our page. All right. 1 quick second, guys. I want to watch. I like to watch it without sound. Okay, here we go. All right, ready? Amy, thank you. Thank you, Amy. Hold on. All right, so here he is. I know there's a little glare, guys. It's a little light here in Las Vegas. So let's stop right here. So right here, we all know he's looking down, right? He's looking down. He's coming in. He's looking down. All right, but I want you guys to spot something if you haven't already. Right there, right there. Okay, right there. What do you guys think he's doing right there? What was he doing with that glove right there? And I apologize. Hold on. Let me just close this shade down real quick, guys. Hold on. We'll see it better in a little bit. What was he doing with those gloves, actually? What do you think he was doing with those gloves? I want everybody to watch those big gloves. Man, they remind me of the gloves back in the 70s and 80s when I used to box. But watch the gloves. I want you guys to give the perspective in the chat, and then I'm going to comment. Ah, shoot. Whoops.
So the FBI is releasing.
All right. All right. Here he goes. All right, right there. So right there, folks, I'm trying to get in the human eye. I know Laura's watching this, psychologist. When you go to a front door, folks, what do we do? What do you do if you want to get, assuming they don't have a Ring doorbell in the front of a garage like I do, your instinct is to ring that doorbell, right? It's almost like his mind was already set, programmed, in my opinion, to knock or ring the doorbell. Exactly, Jeff. And I apologize, guys. I know it's still daylight here. It's hard. I know there's a little glare, but let's do it again. Okay, there he is now. He's walking on that there looks like. Now watch his pattern of walk. He changes like over to the other side as Brian Hinton, former FBI. Look, right to the doorbell. Right to the doorbell. It's almost that did he ring the doorbell. Okay? Now watch this. Now watch this. This is big. Watch this. Oh, he goes to the plant, but watch this, folks. Watch this. Look at that. Look at his head. Did you guys see his head? Turn to the left. So watch his head again, guys. Let's go back. He goes to the plant. He goes to that plant. He knew exactly what plant he looks. All right, so for me, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. And I know there's a glare. When it gets a little darker in a few minutes, we'll be able to pick it up and analyze this together. But for me, he had a mission. For me, he is ringing that bell. Now, he's doing it for a couple different reasons. One, perhaps there's already his partner in the house. I still think, ladies and gentlemen, there's about 3 people working together. If you're new to my channel, like and subscribe. I'm not jumping off of that. I think at least 3. So, one could be he's ringing it to let his partner in crime, piece of crap, knowing, hey, I'm here. I'm here. Let's get this going, right? Could be. Number 2, he's doing it for the throw off the whole case. Knowing that they're going to get the surveillance. I'll get inside of the FBI. Pima County. Forget them. So much into this Pima County. That's on another lot. That could be number 2. So 1 or 2. Now 3 could be that his partner's not in the house, right? Maybe you guys think it's just the one perp, the mask guy, the porch guy, whatever you do call him, right? And he's ringing the bell to see if there's Nancy's inside, maybe somebody else is inside, whatever. But he's so comfortable. When somebody's that comfortable, and his eyes, as Laura says a couple days ago, wide open like that, like he's under or perhaps on something, eyes, but so relaxed. That simply tells me, folks, ladies and gentlemen, that he knows that his partner is in that house. Standing up, sitting on the sofa with a piece of plastic, comfortable. Knew exactly to go after the plants. And then that little look over his shoulder, like that, well, that could have been, he heard a dog bark. He heard a noise. A coyote. You know, he heard something. He heard something. What do you think? Was he looking back because there was another vehicle who was involved in this? Was that the third person on the street? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we still don't know about a car. There's no evidence of any kind of car. All right? So I want everybody to think on what we have. We have a guy who's been on the porch for 40 to 45 seconds, very calm, either knocking on the door, as Joe said, or going after that doorbell. He was on a mission to go after the doorbell. Was this staged? Was he on something high? I can tell you this, we've all had a few drinks, maybe not all of us on here, but I know I had a few drinks. If you're under the influence of alcohol, we've all seen the DUIs, even 2 drinks, what happens? You're like this, you just don't move. This guy was too comfortable, so comfortable that he knew. Ring that doorbell. I'm here. I'm here. To his partner. I'm here. There's the doorbell. Let's get it going. Let's get this operation started. Now, whether they wanted to actually kidnap Nancy Guthrie, whether they wanted accidentally unalived this beautiful woman, or a burglary. That's up to you guys to decide. But I'm going to tell you right now, he went right to that doorbell without any hesitation. It's almost like you guys going up to a house and you want to, go up to that house to inform, hey, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. Amy, and thank you for joining the membership. It was someone who knew her, definitely. Get into some comments, and then we're going to have Laura call back in a second. Real relaxed, yes. I mean, I don't know anybody who's that relaxed. Even Uber drivers, Uber Eats, Postmate, all those other food. Remember back in the day before they had cameras? They're nervous. In fact, I delivered food for a little bit. Pizza. You're a little nervous. You go up to a house, you're nervous. Not this guy. This guy was too relaxed. So, PTSD, perhaps. Now, real quick, guys, before Laura comes in, does anybody calls back? Does anybody want to call in? We're taking calls now. Call at 702-447-9027. We'll love to hear from you. I have it pinned. Love to hear from you. I'm reading some great comments. Sorry, phone's on crack. I said it's still Tommaso. PTSD, I read that. But let's just try to keep it simple, right? Because as Diane Phoenix, if anybody did not watch Brian Inton today, a couple hours ago with the former FBI, he said it. Keep it simple. I agree with him. Keep it simple. Let's not go outside that box on this perp, right? We can discuss, but was he by himself? Was there somebody in the house? Or maybe in your opinion, no doubt, he was by himself and just ringing that doorbell or knock on the door to notify Nancy. If Nancy was in the house. And we still don't know the exact call. Okay, we're getting a call here. Let's see who this is. Hello, this is Sal.
Hi, Sal. This is Cara.
Carla, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for calling in. What do you think based on, I know there's a little glare. It was kind of hard to see. When it gets dark, we'll see it more. But I'm sure you've seen it a bunch of times. What's your thoughts on what we just discussed?
You know what, when you sat there and played it real slow, I never noticed. He looked away like he was looking at something or someone.
You know what, Carla? Hold on one second. Excuse me. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I've never noticed that before. I'm sorry. I'm being the truth. I also have never noticed that. I was so glued on the plants. I was hypnotized, Carla, on those plants. First time I noticed that was today. Go ahead and continue. I apologize. Go ahead. It's all yours.
So, I still say Tommaso had something to do with it.
Tommaso, yeah.
I think so. It's somebody she knows. Definitely, she knows. It has to be, because that guy or that person was way too relaxed.
Way too, yeah.
Even if he was on drugs or something like that, or drinking, he was way too relaxed going up to her house.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that relaxed going to a house.
Yeah, in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3, whatever time it was like,
yeah.
Wow.
So what do you think? What do you think he was looking back? Do you think he was looking back? Do you think he heard a dog bark? Like I said, was it a car? Was it the third person, the second person, or just looking back because he was rehearsed?
Yeah, one of those. Well, it could have been someone, or it could have been. Remember the dog next door? Mm-hmm. That had started barking. It's like, I don't know why that guy did not call. I'm sorry if anybody disagrees with this, but why in the heck did that neighbor, knowing he had an 84-year-old woman who is not in the greatest of health, call for a welfare check? Because the dogs, he said himself, the dogs never did that before.
Dogs never barked before.
Like they sleep through the night.
Right.
Yeah. They never, they sleep through the night, and he said...
Or excuse me, I apologize. I take that back. Not that they never barked before. That's crazy for me saying that. But at that particular time, the bark, right? They never barked at that time.
In the middle of the night.
At the middle of the night, right? Stand
And
correctly.
it's like, and people go, oh, it could have been a coyote, it could have been this, could have been that. It's like, yeah, but the dogs never barked when at that time of night before. So, I mean, that's weird. That's just weird. You know, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but I mean, it's like, hello.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to ask this to you, and thank you for calling in. And I want to ask the whole chat this. Do you think, this goes to everybody in the chat, 118, do you think the FBI made a mistake by showing all of us that 45 seconds of the porch guy, mask guy, whatever you want to call him, the perp? Do you think that was a mistake? At the time they thought it would help? What do you think? I'll wait for your response first, Carla, and everybody else. Okay, Carla, you're first.
Okay, in one way I think it was a mistake, but then in another way, I'm glad they did. I mean, what they should have done.
No, I am too. I'm just saying.
All those billboards that they had, that they had up of, I don't know if they still have them up, but all those billboards they had up of Nancy, you know, it's like, please help us find Nancy. Why didn't they have his picture up there also? Like, hey, this is the person who we think has something to do with it.
Good point.
And then, you know, it's like, they have that on that car, or that truck. I saw that truck the other night, and it was like, why didn't they have that on, you know?
Yeah, Barbie Joe 55, first of all, welcome in the chat, and God bless, says, no, it wasn't a mistake, referring to what I said. Her opinion, or his opinion, I believe it's a female chatting here, it wasn't a mistake that the FBI wanted to put it out.
What I think was a mistake that the cops and the FBI did was they released the house way too soon.
Oh, yeah.
They should have, like, kept the house. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the police department, but it's like, yeah, you should have kept it a little longer than a day or two.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, too many people were going up there. I mean, hello, the pool guy could have waited a few, you know.
Pima County, they should all be investigated. All of them, not just Nanos, all the way to the district. The biggest, I couldn't believe when I seen pizza being delivered. Forget the pizza. When I seen News Nation, Fox, and CNN, and all the streamers who, you know, they did a great job. Nothing against the streamers. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm just getting a pizza. Speaking of pizza, I'm getting a pizza delivery right now. That's crazy. Thank you. I couldn't believe that house wasn't all wrapped in yellow. That street in front of the house is a crime scene. A lot of people don't understand. That street in front, they had streamers and everybody. It's not the streamers' fault. Hey, if you're letting us go up, we're going to film, right? But I'm saying that should have been, for the first 72 hours, the streamers and news should have been in a designated area, probably 500 feet north or south of the street. That was a big mistake, and they should be fired is an understatement.
Yeah, definitely.
But
you know, as you said, the streamers and the news people, it's not their fault.
It's not the streamers' fault. They did a great job, but what I couldn't believe, like all of us on the chat right now, we turned on and we seen all the streamers. We're not mentioning all their names, but they were all out there doing a fantastic job. I'm like, whoa, how the hell are they in front of the house? Yeah, I had to pinch myself. I don't think you would see that back east. And I hate to go like back east to back west coast. I live in the west coast. That would not happen. It's not even politics. It's just about common damn sense. But anyhow, said the less, interesting to go back at the perp house. He's looking back, and we'll show it again in a little bit. As he goes back and just looks over to his left, either he heard something, he was rehearsing, or man, or he just, you know, throwing us all off to make it look like, you know, that. But I just noticed that this, Carla, when I watched it an hour before we came on.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. When you did that in like slow motion, it was like, oh, what the heck? He's looking back. and yeah, that was crazy. I hope whoever it is, I feel really, really bad for the family, but I feel bad for Nancy. Because, I do. I feel bad for her.
They're gonna catch. They're gonna catch these people involved. They're gonna catch them, and I think Brian Hitton's FBI, former FBI, my friend. A lot of these people that I'm talking to, my sources in police, law enforcement, retired, including my uncle, they all feel that this case is going to be solved, but they just are so scared to put anything else out there. Particularly what happened with TMZ. I don't want to get into. I think that was sloppy from the FBI too. So in my opinion, they threw that whole team out. I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to throw a strong one at you, everybody. I wouldn't be surprised that Cash Patel might be off that. I'm telling you, because it was handled a total F on both sides. FBI and Pima County butchered this. And I have to say, it was Pima County, I think, did not help the FBI.
I don't think so either.
So, total embarrassing.
Yeah, okay, I got a quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
You and everybody else. Okay, a couple of days ago, I sat there and I was watching this thing, and it said Brian Eaton cracked the case or something like that. And there was like some stupid voice, and it's like that.
Yeah.
That Annie and the cop, what's his name?
I seen that.
Oh, shoot.
I seen that.
What did you think of that?
Yeah, I'm real careful on that. I don't want to judge other YouTubers. I'm wondering, it's almost like it's one of those AI kind of.
That's what I thought it was.
It's almost like an AI behind it, using Brian Hitton to attract,
Yeah,
the
he was
viewers.
only on there, 5 seconds?
Yeah. I seen that. It's funny you say that. It's not funny, but I did see it. Yeah. A lot of that stuff I don't like to watch. Again, I like to keep it simple as possible and go back as simple as possible. But interesting though. I still think that he going ringing that bell right to the door, ringing that bell. It's almost like, hey, I'm here. Are we ready to go? A mission. Let's get this started right now.
Yeah. You know what?
Hey, Connie.
I didn't think about this earlier. Okay, so remember everybody said that there was, the back door was propped open?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe one guy was inside, and that's why he was, ringing the doorbell.
I'm telling you, it's starting for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just analyzing this, trying to go on what we know and going slow. Yes, it's almost like, again, ring, ring, ding, ding, I'm here. Let's start this.
Yeah, okay.
Let's start it.
Made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, let's start it. I'm here. Let's get it going. I'll be right in. I might not come in through the front door, but I'm coming around the back. Are you ready?
Yep.
Do you have her? Ladies and gentlemen, if any kids around or people don't want to hear something like this, I ask you to walk away. But that's what I think happened in that time there. And I don't think it was 40 minutes. I think it was more like 20 minutes. I don't think they have the times all lined up either.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody or everybody think that was a real gun he had?
Well, let's
I
ask the
kinda
chat.
think it might have been.
Yeah, I'm going to ask it another way. You can say that. Do you guys think that was a real neighbor? We'll say neighbor for YouTube. Do we think that was his real neighbor in his pocket, that white weapon that was there? Let's ask the chat and see what they say, Carla.
Okay.
Let's see. Julie says, we have been given the right information anyway. That's from Julie. Amy, who just became a member, we thank Amy. Amy says fake, Carla. Amy says fake.
Yeah.
We have Connie says no. Someone just said real. So we have one real. What do you think? You think it was real?
I thought it was fake because first they said that the holster was some cheap holster that you can, buy at Walmart.
It looked like something I got when my mom got me in the 70s and 80s. Those cowboy belts with those that
Yes.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
real
what it
quick, Carla,
reminded me of.
we have a loyal subscriber, Crystal.
Okay.
She's been with me for a long time. Say hello to Crystal. Crystal says, Sal, Crystal's been saying this for a long time, thinks that Nancy was in protective custody.
Oh, maybe. But that would be messed up if she was.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, it would. It
Because-
would. Yeah.
is. You know, I could see if she was, and then it was like, the wives of, saying that she's missing.
That would remind me that
And
there was a
having all
movie.
these
There was a
more
movie
people.
like that. Yeah, that would be really. I don't think they would. Yeah, I don't know. But Crystal's been, sticking. And a couple other people have said that. Yeah, Amy says not a chance. So yeah, it's crazy when we slow it down on how we, even though this has been almost 6 months. Can you believe it, Chat and Carla? 170
Wow,
days. But I'm thinking, and I've
That's
said this
crazy.
before, Carla, I believe is the FBI is probably started new probably a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I think they just took that puzzle, threw it all over the place, and now waiting for that next piece or two from the new FBI to put this case together, starting all new and fresh.
Yeah. I hope they find it.
Somebody just said in the
One
chat.
way or another.
Somebody just said in the chat, no, I'm not sure if the video's even real. Maybe it's BS, somebody said.
Oh.
Welcome in, Kay Cooper. Kay didn't say that, I'm just welcoming Kay, but this is from another subscriber.
Yeah.
Vicky, thank you for the gold coin. So, all right, Carla. Hey, call back again.
Okay.
You have some,
I will.
got a good voice, good perspective. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video, the live.
I will. And you know what? I'm really glad that I started to subscribe to you.
We appreciate having you. I love everybody on here. Everybody has different perspective. I still think it could be somebody out there on one of the streams or a streamer or some random hikers as far as the remains could solve this. Sometimes that's who solves this,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are
Just a
saying,
random
come on,
person.
Sal, but no, seriously. Could be some hikers and Boy Scouts, and it could be streamers or somebody on the stream to put something together, and, and the FBI could take a look. The FBI could be looking at a lot of these lives, and, 1, 2, 3, get rid of them, and all of a sudden they hear something like, boom, whoa, that might make sense, We never know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Never
Carla.
know.
Well,
Okay.
take care.
You're welcome. You.
That was Carla. What a great voice. Interesting. I'm going to get into the chat, and then we'll see if Laura calls back. TMZ video, I'm not sure if anything is real. Maybe the perp is in the chat. Sharon, if the perp's in the chat, or the people who done this crime, I still think plural, a few, my opinion. Put a 1 if you think there's more than one. Okay? Laura, what'd you think?
Hi.
Hi, what do you think now? You watched, I know it was a little glare. What do you think of the perp looking back? Think he got spooked by something or what?
Well, it is possible that he has a getaway car somewhere out of sight.
Getaway car.
That was certainly one of my earlier theories, is that he probably has some type of female sidekick who is waiting in the shadows, and that he communicates with by walkie-talkie.
Yeah, yeah. All right, what about, now we're listening to Laura, retired and sounds real happy. Psychologist, living in Las Vegas. Laura, let me ask you this. So, do you agree or disagree? When somebody goes that quickly, not quickly, I mean like nonchalant, relaxed, but right to the doorbell, what does that tell you? Am I reading way too much into this? I mean, be free to but to go right after the doorbell, what do you think? If he hit the doorbell, I'm assuming he hit the doorbell. What do you think?
Yes. So if you were to read over the Hare psychopathy checklist, one thing that you would notice is that many psychopaths are quite relaxed, that they lack fear. They have a high degree of audacity.
So
That is a
psychopaths.
personality trait.
So wait a minute.
Yes,
You're
yes.
saying majority of psychopaths, or almost all of them, have that mentality of being just relaxed and calm?
Yes, they lack fear and they have a high degree of audacity.
Wow.
So that would be consistent with the idea that this is a psychopath. Yes, that he's relaxed and comfortable, and he did previous recon back on the night of January 11th. So he has confidence in his plan.
Do you
know,
think?
that he's
Do you
been
think
planning
that's?
this for a while, and he believes he has inside knowledge of Nancy Guthrie's situation. He's aware of the fact that she lives alone,
Right.
and he has confidence that his plan is going forward.
Do you think this was his first rodeo?
Probably this person is criminally versatile. You know, he's probably been arrested for various things before. You know, maybe in Mexico he was arrested for something, or maybe here. I'm not sure.
You know, I find it interesting what you said, though. These psychopaths, in your experience, in your thoughts, I mean, I'm sure you ran into some of these, are relaxed when they do these horrific crimes, right? They get to the point where they're relaxed. Then, do they stay relaxed, or do they panic at some time? In other words, when they get into the crime itself, is there some panic if you got inside the suspect's head? Do they start to panic at some points, or are they still relaxed as they're doing these crimes? I don't want to get into it. You know, we have I'm sure a lot of
Yeah,
people can.
in my imagination, again, at the 170-day mark, the porch guy is experiencing an emotional state of gloating satisfaction, that he has neither guilt nor panic. He's gotten away with it this long, and his interpretation would be that he's gotten away with it, and he's probably now maybe in the boasting stage, or in the smug, satisfied stage. Who knows? But I don't think he was panicked then, and I don't think he's panicked now.
Hold on one second, Laura. Great comment. I want to read Julie has a comment here. I want to respond to that real quick. It's hey Sal, what the hell happened at today's show recently with the intruder? Is it related to the case? Julie, I don't think it's related, and now you can jump in, Laura. I would say no, because I tell you why. If it was related, they probably would have heavy security. NBC, I'm sure a lot of these ABC, CNN, Fox, etc., News Nation, Brian Hinton, have, what they feel that their life, and you can jump in, Laura, feels that their life is being threatening in any way, they would have heavy security. Yes or no? I don't know if you heard what happened, Laura, but there was a, I guess it happened on NBC a few days ago where they, did you hear what happened? Somebody either was near on the show or threatened to go on the show. I'm not sure. Do you know actually more about it than I do?
Yeah. So, yeah, the idea you're getting to is antecedents, red flags, warning signs. Was there anything that happened beforehand? For example, would there have been a series of mentally ill letters arriving to Savannah Guthrie's mailbox leading up to this? And there are cases like the Bjork stalker, no foreshadowing, no red flags, no antecedents, no warning signs. You know, John Hinckley Jr. did not send a series of unhinged letters to President Ronald Reagan in advance of what he did.
Right. John Hinckley Jr., there was no letters at all. No letters at all.
Yeah, John Lennon did not receive any letters from Mark David Chapman before he was shot. So, you know, that's one possibility that somebody might send a letter, but I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion.
Any possibility? I'm reading a chat here from Connie. Hello, Connie. Good to see you. Connie, do you have anything possibility that this was any kind of AI that we're all looking at by now? What's your first thoughts on that as far as the perp in that 44-second video? Any possibility of an AI that was misled out there? And what do you think? Can you hear me? Hello? Laura, are you there?
Are you asking?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll make sure I read this right.
I thought you were.
Yeah,
you were
no.
talking to somebody.
I think I confused everybody, including myself. Okay, so I think the question was from Connie. There has been speculations that the video of the porch guy that we watched a few times, is it possible an AI, like look here, not there situation, so the FBI can move
I
forward?
believe that video was released by Kash Patel himself. I believe that video is not AI.
It's not AI. I would have to say I agree with you. I think that was I don't think they would go ahead. I'm sure they analyzed that probably 1,000 times before they showed it to the public and the media, right?
The video was first published by Mr. Kash Patel himself personally. He did that.
Right. Yeah, I would say no. I would say that's the real image. And I also would add to that, to the chat and everybody else on here, that there's probably something else out there. But again, if you're just coming in, I'm Sal. We're listening to Laura. I would say that there's another portion of that. Could be another 10 seconds. Could be 5 seconds. Could be nothing. It's just spectations.
Yeah, that's just a video. That's just a video clip. But there
Right.
probably is additional ongoing video and other evidence that Kash Patel has not released.
I bet you
But
Kash
he
Patel
put
is
that
not
out there.
releasing it because of one reason. If he
Because-
shows that next thing, well, that tells the perk, okay, they know that now, right?
Well, and he obviously, Kash Patel will put that out there. It's not public. We can recognize that person. You know.
Yeah, you faded away just a little bit, Laura. Hello?
So he put that out there hoping that members of the public would recognize the perp and that somebody would call and say, that's my neighbor.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I think, excuse me, everybody. I think there's probably, I'm guessing, another 15 seconds. And I'm sure they've got that all colored in and everything, highlighted the best they can with contrast. And I wouldn't be surprised that that part is holding back for the final investigation for the prosecution, and hoping that they do get a DNA sooner than later. So they're going to
The
hold.
additional reason would be sensitivity to the family. For example, if they put out a video that showed Nancy gasping for air as blood spurts from her nostrils, showing her being beaten and abused on her doorstep, that would show lack of sensitivity to the family. That would be in poor taste.
Wow.
So sometimes law enforcement doesn't want to put that out there because it's too disgusting. The emotional impact is too high, and it's considered a private moment when somebody is being abused unto death.
Wow. I got it. Interesting. Whoa, chat. Yeah. Wow. I haven't really, well, I have thought, but not in that perspective. Great point. And maybe that's why
From a
Savannah,
historical perspective, Ed Smart, Elizabeth Smart's father, was also accused before Elizabeth was found to tell her story. I noticed that the chat section is flooded with people thinking it's Tommaso because Tommaso is convenient, Tommaso is proximal, he's obvious, but I'm not 100% certain that it was Tommaso. There's a couple of problems with that theory. One problem with that theory is that the FBI has already been completely up his backside with a microscope. Tommaso has means, but he does, he has, means to do it. But where's his motive? Among the people who speculate it could have been Tommaso, what hypothetically would be Tommaso's motive and what could he possibly stand to gain? And how would the FBI not have caught Tommaso after they took his car apart piece by piece, going over every inch of the upholstery in his car with a Q-tip after having taken apart the internal electronic computer to see where the car travels. How could they not have concluded it's Tommaso from taking apart his car? How could Tommaso, without the use of his car, have gotten Nancy out of town? So that there are some problems with the Tommaso theory.
Great point.
And,
Great point. Fantastic
it's an
point.
interesting theory, but I haven't really heard the complete theory. I've heard people making mindless accusations, but I haven't heard them really present a complete theory. If it was Tommaso, then where is Nancy now? Tommaso lives 3 miles from Nancy's house. Where did he hide Nancy?
Where's Nancy? Right. Why Nancy? And what motive? As Diane just read my message, I was always saying motive. It came out. Motive, question mark, and cash. Well, that's the $1 million question, folks. You know, was this about cash? Was it about what's the motive? Was it cash? Was it from somebody who fell in love with Savannah? We talked about that a couple times. Was it somebody who was in love with Nancy? Was there somebody in love with Annie? You know, was there somebody who didn't like Savannah for whatever story she has covered in the last 10, 15, 20 years? Is it motive versus, motive versus, what would you say? Motive versus hate?
Well, the only speculation I've ever heard to me that could even possibly that one daughter was the golden daughter, the more beautiful daughter, the more successful daughter, the wealthier daughter, and that there would be a jealousy dynamic there. And so therefore, under this hypothetical proposed, speculation, then would have collated to do something to Nancy to extract ransom money out of wealthy daughter Savannah. That's one hypothetical motive that I've heard.
Yeah.
In that case, it still makes you wonder, okay, and where is Nancy today?
Right.
If they didn't use to transport Nancy somewhere, then how did they get Nancy to where she is? Did they use furniture dolls, a radio flyer wagon, a golf cart? I mean, how did this happen, and where would Nancy be today? Annie and Tommaso are under tremendous scrutiny, and they have been for quite some time. And any theory that says it will include the idea that they have done this horrible thing to her own mother. From a purely financial perspective, I think that if there is an octogenarian woman on a pacemaker who relies on heart medication, Annie's chances at getting an inheritance would have actually been better if they just waited. Honestly,
right.
Killing Nancy and hiding the body means that there's no death certificate. Even if the house, which has, $60,000 still owed on it, did go to auction, Annie would only get 1/3 of the profits of that house. That is not a huge financial windfall. Right. And the fact that there's no death certificate has delayed Annie getting any potential money that she might have gotten without the huge risk.
That's a good point.
If Annie and Tommaso are psychopaths, then typically there'd be some evidence of that. Tommaso is a school teacher. Annie works for charities. Right. There's no evidence of psychopathy, and these people are not well known to law enforcement for criminal recidivism.
I'm glad you brought this up, but let's hold that thought. Have you ever seen, in your experience, a teacher, a police officer, somebody that's successful do these crimes to a family? Have you ever seen anybody with a higher IQ to do something like this to a family member? Let me complete the sentence. To a family member.
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, there are statistical outlier arguments, but there's problems with any of those theories.
Yeah.
Any theory you could put forward, there always seems to be a problem with it. I've thought about this from different angles, and I don't see one clear motive.
Right. Yeah, this is so bizarre, but I thought it would be good to show you and the viewers and slow it down and just pick up things like Carla, I think it was the last caller, picked up on him turning his back and could have seen a car, like you said, could have just been spooked by or heard a dog, but also going right to that doorbell. That there struck me. It's like the hand went right to that doorbell, where before I couldn't really make it out what he was doing. It almost like he was doing something weird, but I think he was approaching that door. For whatever reason, that's why we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah, we know very well that the porch guy was at 11.
Yeah.
He would surely have not of the rules from his previous recon and surveillance of the house. Why would he then not show up with a can of spray paint or a bottle of nail polish to obscure that doorbell cam?
Right.
You know, why would he show there unprepared, trying to use his hand to detach the doorbell camera? I mean, the spray paint idea would have been the first idea. You know, why did he show up there so unprepared? It's very disorganized, very odd. And when I look at his hand, what I see is a black nitrile exam glove that covers some sort of additional gloves that he wears underneath that.
You said that
Double
before.
glove.
You said that before when you came on. Yes, that sticks in my head. You still stick with that, huh?
I'm not 100% certain. I mean,
Yeah.
the long shot theory is out there.
Right.
Most people think statistically the most logical, obvious motive would be money. Then there's also the pervert theory that this guy is just into octogenarians, that he abducted Nancy because he likes old ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's called, what is that name on that? Yeah, but yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's been
The reason he took Nancy is because he wants her. You know, that Nancy is now, you know, duct taped in somebody's basement.
Right.
Or, you know, this Nancy
Hold that thought.
is
Hold that
the-
thought. I think the FBI, maybe the next team that's on there, if there's another team, we don't know. I think there's got to be after almost 6 months. Maybe they're taking everything away, like you just said. I don't want to repeat it, but we'll just say Tommaso and the perp work, or what I'm saying, working as a team. Maybe they're going based on, could it just be simply that he wanted an elderly lady? And, you know, we've seen that before, and things went wrong.
And that is a bizarre long shot, but not outside the scope of all possibilities.
Sure.
You know, when other theories have fallen apart, when the more obvious theories have fallen apart,
Yeah.
you know, this was a period of time when Nancy was being used and abused as a
Yeah. Well, let's hope, and you know what I'm hearing, and we certainly, I don't know if you watched Brian Hinton tonight, and former FBI, and his perspective, that he says he would be very surprised if it's the same FBI. He thinks they clean them all out and start new. It's almost like if you have a starting quarterback, he says, and it's Peyton Manning in football, and he's so good, but they're just not playing good that day. Let's start all over.
Yeah, my personal favorite number one theory is the obsessed delusional stalker theory. Something on the model of John Hinckley Jr. You know, that somebody did this to Nancy to send a message to Savannah. My second theory would be the financial motive theory, that somebody went in there with a bag of bags because they had been told, truthfully or falsely, somehow that there was something to be had, you know, that they're trying to get something. And then, you know, somewhere down that list, further down, would be the obvious, you know, Tommaso and Annie theory.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm still on that. I'm still with that.
Of course, there's the sex pervert theory.
Sex pervert, yeah.
Possibly. I mean,
yeah.
Just listing off all the possible theories.
Yep.
And then the kidnapping theory, that somebody just took her because they're trying to get money out of the Guthrie family. And then, of course, if it was the Guthrie family, then why did the second ransom note start with the phrase "Hello, Savannah"?
Hello,
It
Savannah.
didn't say
Right.
"Hello, Guthrie family." It
Right.
said "Hello, Savannah."
Yes.
So obviously, they're not trying to get money out of Sun Cameron. They're not trying to get money out of TMZ. They're trying to get money out of Savannah, or they're trying to hurt Savannah.
Right. Right.
If you believe in the ransom notes, if you believe the ransom notes are legit, that the ransom notes were written by Perk, then you'd have to think Savannah is the target of those notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would have to believe that the FBI, the new team, and for all the audience that are watching, we're not sure. We're just guessing based on former FBI's perspective. If the new FBI is on this case, I'm pretty much they started just like you did and started, could have been some kind of a pervert. I'm sure they're checking into looking at Tommaso, of course. Again, I wouldn't be surprised they've been knocking on the door, whatever they're at, and checking their finances. And like you said, why not wait until she passes? But, gambling, drugs, narcotics, that kind of stuff. And then I'm sure they're going to rule that out and then go to the next one, which was something in that house, something very valuable, gold.
Yeah, people who say that Annie and Tommaso did it, I have a question for you. If you think that Annie and Tommaso did it, then what is Annie and Tommaso's motive? Why did they do it?
So what you're saying to the chat,
the hypothetical motive.
Right. So what Laura just said, if you didn't hear, I'm sure you did, but I'll repeat it. If, no disrespect, you think, allegedly, Tommaso and Annie did it, what is the motive? What would be the motive of taking their mother-in-law and mom? Right?
Is it a jealousy motive? Is it a money motive?
Right. I'm seeing money.
Did Annie and Tommaso gain by disappearing Nancy?
Yeah.
If anything, what would be the hypothetical motive? Is it an emotional thing, like they just wanted to hurt Savannah and that's it?
I'm seeing a lot of money.
The emotional satisfaction of hurting Savannah?
Right.
That Annie and Tommaso, who have a young son, Olmo, would take a huge risk of going to prison for life just for the emotional satisfaction of hurting Savannah. Is that realistic to you? Because that's a huge undertaking to murder your own mother.
It would be, but
Tommaso was a school teacher. He had a perfectly good job.
right.
Annie worked in charity. She had a perfectly good job. Their living situation was
Right.
solidly middle class.
No,
They
I couldn't
owned a
agree more.
home, and they have a young son who hypothetically would also be at risk of being lost to them
Right.
if they got caught. So what would be the proposed motive, and why was this motive so compelling that they would risk everything
Right.
to kill their own mother?
And she had a
Why
business.
would they do that?
Annie had a small business, a jewelry business.
Yes, but what would be the motive? Why are you saying it's money?
Right. Yeah. You're just asking it.
Like,
You're just
people-
saying if you
people-
think it's them,
people
what's the
who
motive?
filled up people who filled up the comment section earlier waiting that it was Tommaso. Please tell me why. Why is it Tommaso, and what is Tommaso's motive?
Somebody just said motive revenge. I just got a message just popped up as you said it. Motive revenge. Most people are saying in the chat tonight money. One just said revenge.
Money.
Money and
Okay, well, this woman was an octogenarian. She was in the 8th decade of life. She was getting ready to die anyway, and if or when she did die, the house would be sold, and the creditors would be paid. So there is $60,000 outstanding on that house. So those creditors would be paid, and any remaining profits would be split 3 ways between Nancy's 3 children.
right.
Her son Cameron, her daughter Savannah, and finally Annie. So all they had to do was wait.
It's not like you're looking at somebody in their 30s. No disrespect to somebody in their 70s, not that it's old, but somebody who's elderly and not in the best shape. is what you're saying, you know? There's a cash out that's going to happen.
Annie and Tommaso would have inherited.
Yeah.
Who already. So all they had to do is just wait and see. Based on the fact that she was currently on a pacemaker.
Hey, Matthew.
And and all Annie and Tommaso had to do is wait 18 months. Nancy was on her way out.
Well, we don't know that for sure. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, it wasn't like they had another 20 years to go.
No, and you know, this is almost grandmother.
Right.
So, you know.
Well, Laura, thank you so much. I mean, you really made me now kind of like clear my mind and look at other, you know, like you said, why? What's the motive? It's not like you're disagreeing. It doesn't sound like you're disagreeing, but you're just asking everybody, and you're probably including yourself, if Annie and Tommaso were involved, what's the motive behind it? Is it money? Why? And why would they want to do it where, you know, perhaps sooner than later, they're going to have cut three ways on the three siblings?
At some point, Annie would be in the uncomfortable situation of having to back up Tommaso's alibi.
And also, I stand correct. I just made a mistake. I think I said 74 just for the chat. She was 84. But yeah, gotcha. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, 84.
Yes.
I stand correct. It was not 74. Excuse me.
Yes.
Annie Guthrie was 84. Right. Got it.
You know, and the adjusted human life expectancy for an 84-year-old who wears a pacemaker is what?
Right.
How much time,
Right.
statistically, did Miss Nancy Guthrie have left on this earth?
Right. My mom passed away at 79 with a pacemaker.
Right. So, you know, if Annie and Tommaso were that money hungry, why didn't they just wait?
I mean, you have valid points.
You realize there's no death certificate right now on Nancy Guthrie.
Right. Correct.
We're just speculating that she's dead. We think she's dead.
Correct.
But there's no body, and unless or until there's a body, you know, it's going to be a while before there's a death certificate.
Diane Phoenix just says there were 3 mortgages on Nancy's home, each taken out to give cash to A&T. I'm reading the comment to you and everybody else.
Well, then it sounds like that you know, there was, to my knowledge, at least one mortgage taken out. I didn't know about the multiple mortgages. That's brand new information.
Well, Laura, thank you once again for your time and your perspective. Laura's a psychologist, retired now, helps out the homeless, like we do on here. I'm going to show it a few more times, the video. Let's hope that they did change the FBI, Laura, and start from new, because sometimes the errors happen. Sometimes they get caught up on one thing. Could be caught up on Annie and Tommaso, could be caught up on one perspective, and it's hard to break that. And you know, I've been on a jury before, Laura, and I was a floor man. Anyhow, I'm jumping around a little bit, and you can influence everybody, and they're not supposed to do that as FBI, of course, right? But it does happen. And Pima County, forget about it. Let's just take them out of the picture. And maybe it's great to start from new, and maybe it's good to have a cold case. Maybe it's good to have a cold case.
Yeah, most kidnapped for ransoms are usually a child. You know, it's very rarely such an old woman.
Yeah. I know.
So where is this money coming from? And in today's high-tech world, how would Nancy and Tommaso collect this ransom money and not get caught?
Yeah, unless the sheriff was involved. Somebody put that comment about 10. I try to catch all the comments. I don't read them. Unless the sheriff department, Pima County Attorney General. I mean, we're going way offline. We're all involved in this, and all turned their back because of money. You know. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Yeah, except there was no ransom money in that Bitcoin account. You know, they put the FBI
Right,
put
right.
a very, very tiny bit of bait money in that account.
Which I think was a mistake, and I'm
And-
glad you brought this up. They probably should have put more money in. I'm not saying to put $500,000, but I think they should have. They should at least put more in.
Yeah, they put a tiny tease of bait money in that account.
Yeah.
To see if somebody would try to recover it.
Right.
And wisely, the perp did not.
That's like putting a
The
piece
perp
of
was
shrimp for a
apparently
shark.
Too smart for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perp was too smart for that, and they didn't try to go after the tiny tease of bait money. Instead, the perp just decided not to go after.
No,
the
I'm
bait
not going to go
money.
after it. No, I'm too smart. We're too smart. I continue to think 3. Sorry, but I still think 3, 2, 3. Well, let's see if I get some other calls, Laura. We love you. Great. I mean, you've seen. I'm sure you've seen similar cases, maybe not to this degree in this. I don't know, but I'm sure you've seen in your lifetime.
Yeah, there is almost no case in true crime history that's an exact match of this one, and of course that's what has us all stumped. It really doesn't match any known profile. It's a very odd case, and it's always a privilege to be your guest. Thank you.
You have a great night, and we'll meet up. Thank you. All right, there it is. That's interesting, guys. I got to get the light on here. I'll be right back. Need a light. We need a light. Yeah, it's kind of hearing Brian Hinton tonight. It's good to see that News Nation. I tap my hat off to News Nation. At least they're talking about it. Chris Como. I'm not here favoring News Nation. I could give 2 craps, but at least they are, keeping Nancy Guthrie's name out there. And Laura, retired psychologist. There's Brian Hinton, retired FBI. And all the other channels, the interview room, I applaud them. And all we can do is give perspectives, but based on what we can see. But, to watch the perp in slow motion turn his head, to go right after the doorbell, does it mean something or doesn't mean anything? What do you think? And now it's dark. I think what we'll do is just show it a few more times because now we have some new viewers coming in. So I think I'll show it again now that it's dark. We have not much glare. All right, so hold on one second. On this right here. Get rid of my big nose. We don't need to see my big giant nose. Thank you for the UNC, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for the gifts tonight. I really, really appreciate it, all your support. Thank you for sharing the videos, particularly the homeless videos. I can't thank you enough, as 100% of the proceeds will help a homeless. We had a video out today. It did real well and helped out another person that at least fed him today and gave him some confidence and belief and motivation. All right, let's watch this together. No volume. Ducks down. Watch this. Right to the doorbell. Bada boom, bada bang. Knocks on the door or rings that doorbell. One or the other. Maybe both. See, he's trying to ring that doorbell. In my opinion. Now, he hunches back. Up, I'll go to the right. We'll take some plants. All part of the act. No, turn his head. Did you guys see that? Let's see it again. And he goes back. Watch his head, guys, after he picks up the plants. Watch. Right here. What did he hear? What did he say? Oh, right there. Did you guys catch that? What do you think? Right there. What was that all about? What the hell was that all about? What did he hear? Did he see lights in the back? And then at this is at the very end of the video. Also, did you guys see how he changed his steps? Did anybody see how he changed his steps? Watch his steps. I'll go back. Watch him change his steps. He's walking crisscross. Did you see that? All right, ring the doorbell. Ring the doorbell. Change his steps. Ring it again. I'm here, I'm here. He's letting his partner know in the house. We're just having a conversation. All right, reaches over. Grabs the weeds. And then the rest. Kay Cooper says looked like a car light maybe. Let's see. I know I've seen, let's see if we can see any car lights, guys. Look. Let's take our eyes on the perp, off the perp. Do you guys see any car lights back there? Yeah, he looked back. All right, so for me, I think we're all... for me, guys, yes or no? We seen him all look back. He definitely looked back. What was he looking back? Was it lights? Was it a coyote, a dog barking? Was it a... I didn't see any lights. See, until we see... I don't see the lights. Does anybody else see the lights? Because I got to go based on what I can see. I don't see lights. Now, maybe he could see the lights. We can't see the lights. Like my doorbell, it goes right out. I could see my neighbor's trash cans when, like today's trash day. I can see the other neighbor's car. But if somebody ran in my house and ran off to the right, it's gone. So maybe he can see lights. So maybe there was a car parked. Yes or no in the chat? Can you see car lights? And if there is car lights, where was that car? Would they take a chance and have a car parked next down the street a little bit where the neighbors? Is that to become a risk? Knowing that the car would be parked 500 feet to the neighbors? Maybe neighbor dog is barking, lights. Aaron Scott, welcome in. Good to see you. Maybe a flashlight. Maybe. Maybe. You know what I think? When he looked back, you know when we look back, you're in your house by yourself, it's late, maybe you're waiting for your husband to come home, your wife to come home, and you know they might be home, and you hear a noise, but it's not a loud noise, but just enough to like look back, right? And then look back, because he didn't go like this. Stay with me. He didn't go like this. You know those two looks? You know what I mean by two looks? There's that second look. The one look, I call that a quick look. It's almost like, yes, a dog bark. If it was a light, the only light, maybe he's seen a reflection, or maybe a light from the distance, a porch light, or he thought something, because it wasn't one of these second looks. And if it was, he's out of there. Yes or no? And also he continued. You know, he went back up to the porch. A tiny light. I think it was him actually. Leon, welcome in. Now, if you're just coming in for the first time tonight, we're just going in slow motion, back and forth. And, you know, of course, we're trying to get in ahead of the perp. And Was there somebody in the house? Was there a vehicle? Brian Aiton had a former FBI a few hours ago this evening, and he also said he thought the perp was going right to the doorbell. But then again, I think he says if he was going for the doorbell, that was a risk. But I say it's not a risk, because if no disrespect to Brian Aiton's FBI, I'm not an FBI, but it would not be a risk if he knew his partner in crime was sitting in there or standing in there, because, hey, I'm going to ring the doorbell to notify you, hey, I'm here. I'm coming in. I'll be in and back. Let's get to business. Let's, do what we need to do. What do you guys think? I know what I think. I'm going to get a cigar here. I appreciate the likes, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the gifts. Mike, thanks for being around. Appreciate you always. We are covering the Nancy Guthrie, Porch Guy, Perp, Mask Guy, whatever you want to call them. Are we getting close? Also, we're discussing, based on some of my friends in law enforcement, FBI, and Brian Aiton's people, and other FBI agents, a couple things. Most of them think that this is a cold case, and it's a good thing it is a cold case. In case I kind of threw you off, because it's almost like a football game, and they're getting beat 42-0, and you're in the fourth quarter. So let's go ahead and bring a whole new team in. Let's bring some youth in. Let's bring some years of experience in. Let's bring some old school FBI. Let's just start all over. Like Laura says, let's just think different. Let's not think Tommaso and Annie. Let's think something totally different, because it can't hurt, because you got to think about it. Everything to this point, what we know, is not working. Right? It's not working. DNA hasn't come back. Doormat, hair follicles, house was clean, aside from the bed sheets. Doors unlocked in the back. Blood that's come from the nose to the lip. How about they analyze it like, okay, pretend there's no blood, start all over. It's been 6 months. It's almost 6 months, 170 days. The old team didn't work. Bringing in a new team. And now, and I wouldn't be surprised, guys, when this case breaks, and I believe it's going to break, that we're all going to be on here, on other channels as well, saying, holy shit! How did we miss that? How did we miss that? How did my keys that I've been looking for 6 months were in the bottom of the pool? How was that cell phone caught that I ordered a new one because I couldn't find it? It was off. It was a smartphone, so was caught underneath the car seat. I can't believe that phone was caught underneath. You guys get what I'm saying? So, could have been something so simple that the FBI let their guard down. Because at this point, I am blaming the FBI equally to Pima County. Pima County and FBI take half. And I am calling out Kash Patel, and a lot of you know I support Kash Patel. I don't care who I support. Now, said that, they very well could be having a new team in. And they very well can have another 10 seconds of a video that we can't see. That it ends with the mess at the door, right? There very well could be another 10 seconds, 15 seconds to 30 seconds. Like Laura alluded to, psychologists or others, was there a part of the perp with Nancy outside that porch that's on video? Scratching her lip. Cutting her lip. Breaking her nose or punching her nose. Elderly people, even myself, bleed easy these days. They even break bones easy these days. You guys can laugh. So, and that could be that video that they're not going to show us. Why would they show that? I know we want to see it. I want to see it, but why? If they show that, assuming there is, who in the chat, put a 1 if you think there's another 10, 15 seconds, Natalie Hopkins. Put a 1 if you think there's more footage that the FBI's withheld. Put a 2, no. Does the FBI have a few seconds more? Amy and Kay says yes. Cara says yes. Craig Leon says no. Is there just a few more seconds? And that few more seconds can very well be, as Laura alluded to, Nancy Guthrie on those doorsteps, either standing in a sheet, in a plastic, fighting for her life, fighting back the best she can. Is that in that video? However, well, Sal, thanks for sharing that. Why haven't we broke this case? Well, they don't have the DNA. They don't have that piece. They want it. They're ready to go with it. They're desperate. They don't want to lose this case. It makes them look bad. They want to solve this case. Where's Nancy? Why Nancy? They're not going to show it to us because if the perp is watching, or for me, the other person's watching, or 3's watching, I still say 3, well, then that says everything to them to perhaps maybe they were showing a plastic. I'm sure they destroyed the plastic either way, if it was plastic, but they're not going to show the perp or the people involved in this. No. No, of course not. And maybe, thank you, Lisa, prayers for Nancy. Maybe it wasn't even a part of Nancy out there, but maybe there's another 8 seconds or 5 seconds of that perp maybe walking around the back of the house. I'm just saying, maybe walking back that we haven't seen yet. They seen it, but it's not enough evidence of who this person is. Or if they do show it, and it shows something that we haven't seen, maybe the mask moving or something like that, it would show all the evidence to the perp. So I think there's more to it, and I think this case is going to be solved sooner than later, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we want it. All of us are just impatient. We all want to see it end, right? We want justice. You know, may Nancy rest in peace, assuming she's unalive and with the Lord. We all want to know how this can happen to a beautiful lady. What happened to the inside cameras? We haven't seen any of that. No. There's no inside cameras. But I'm happy to see that News Nation's covering it. I'm glad to see other streamers are covering it once, twice a week. I'm going to continue to cover it and bring new details and slow things down. Maybe we'll catch something. Maybe we'll catch something. Who knows? But I know I never seen the perp look back before. And you just can laugh at. I just didn't catch it. I was so into the perp and his eyes, like most of us, and those gloves and the plant. Why the plant? That I kind of never seen him go like this. Did you see that? Did you see that? That was the neighbor's light. But did you see how did you see how I did that? I went like this. But I didn't go like dogs. Barbie, welcome in. Sal, I believe this case will be solved. Also don't know when, but it will be. Absolutely. Absolutely. This will be solved. No doubt in my mind. Try the Newsbreak app too. Anita. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Paylon, I don't know if I said hi to you, and I apologize. Our loyal subscriber, Paylon. Yeah, Kay Cooper, I forget what streamer had it on StreamYards. It doesn't matter who it was. I agree about the accomplice. Lisa, I didn't say hi. I didn't say hi to a lot of people, and I apologize. Let me call myself out. Just so, it just aggravates me. 170 days missing Nancy Guthrie, and hearing from former FBI breaks my heart. You think 2 months, Linda? Yeah, I say 2 months because in between all that, and I don't want to get into that tonight. I want to kind of stick to one topic, but you have the Bitcoin guy, Derek Galata. Kara says, I'm sure, I hope I'm wrong about Tommaso. Yeah, I mean, I hope so too, for me too, because I still, you know, and you know, FBI, they do the same thing, Kara. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the FBI do the exact same thing? They're just skilled. They stick with one, and that's a mistake they make sometimes. So, hello, Sal. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
This is Shirley from New York, from Brooklyn.
Hey, Shirley, turn your TV down just a bit, hon.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, take your time. Just a little bit. So we don't have an echo.
Okay, I did.
All right. New York's in the house.
Okay, I'm from Brooklyn. Okay, my theory is, okay, I remember last time, I think it was last week, you said something about that. You know that the perp didn't go, you know, inside the house. But I was the one that said that if he didn't go inside the house, then how did they took Nancy out of the house?
That's a good question. Well, yes, I did say that. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
I said that I still don't think that perp went in the house. Okay? What I'm saying is he hit that doorbell. Well, that's a good question. I think the person was in the house. The perp notified him with a knock or a doorbell ring. Okay? That's his indication that, hey, I'm here. Let's get this going here. Let's get business here. I think he went around the back. The doors were proven to be unlocked. We got to go based on what we know, the facts. We hope that they're true, and I think they are, right? And then they took her out of the back. Now, I know what you're going to say, and I'll beat you to it to everybody. How do you explain that blood in the front?
Right.
Hold on one second. Joe, I never welcomed you in here tonight. Joe, I'm so sorry. I've been into this chat. Joe, have a good night, brother. Thank you for everything you do, my friend. Thank you, Joe. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brooklyn.
Okay. Another thing, if Tommaso, because they have said that maybe, you know, he had taken her, you know, home. And if he did, there's any chance that maybe he left the door open from the garage a little bit, I guess, for the person to be able to open it to go in through there too. And another thing, the day that Nancy had, not Nancy, Savannah did that interview on the TV with, what's her name again? Starts with an H. What's her name?
Hoda.
Right. She said that they had taken her mother out in the middle of the night in pajamas and no shoes or slippers on. But how did she know that?
That her mom didn't, and then her mom didn't have no slippers. Well, they knew it based on her slippers. I'm only assuming that maybe she only had 2 slippers. I have 1 pair of slippers. Let's say women, I think, how many slippers do women normally have? 2 or 3? I'm getting to a point.
Oh, yeah, that's how much I have.
So let's say you had 3 slippers and you seen that. At that point, they noticed that 1 slippers were not there, or all 3 slippers were Right, she had no slippers, so all 3 slippers were there in that closet, right, or wherever she laid her slippers.
Yeah.
As far as pajamas, maybe she had 2 pairs of pajamas, 3. I know women have 4, 5.
Yeah.
Men only have 1 pair of shorts. Assuming that that one's there, that one's there, that one's there. Whoa, that one's not there. Where is it? Let's check. That's how they knew that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And another thing, I don't know, but I have a theory that Savannah knows that if it was Tommaso, I mean, I got a feeling that it was him, but he probably didn't do it, but he probably said somebody, it could be a family member or anybody, to do it. Now, my theory is that maybe Savannah does know who did it, and that person is a family member,
Could be.
but she doesn't want to put him out there.
Yeah, that very well can be. And I asked the psychologist
because-
that, not tonight, but a couple nights ago, and she said, yeah, it was an interesting point. I said that too. She might know more. Maybe the FBI have said something to her. I don't think the FBI would ever say they know for sure to Savannah, because they couldn't do that. But they could have said something that, mixed something that Savannah something to Savannah that made her lead that could be somebody involved in the family, and Savannah would not put it out there to make it worse. A or B, it would tell the family that they can take off. So it could be a couple different reasons, right?
Oh, right, because of the thing, that she went back to New York, and she moved on. But since she's a very important person out there, she don't, but she probably found out or know that it was a family member that did it or that sent someone to do it, and she doesn't want to put her family out there or disgrace them, out there. So, but I don't know, but I got a feeling that Savannah does know, maybe who did it, and I got a feeling it had to be both money and maybe Annie. Probably, she said, oh, Savannah, my sister, she's over there living her life, and I'm over here taking care of Mom, taking her to her appointment.
So you think it's money?
And doing this. I think it's both, because
You think it's both? Okay, sorry, you think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's money, but I think also, Annie probably got tired of taking care of her mother while her sister's over there, living her life.
Right.
But she probably got tired of it. So I don't know, maybe they decided, to do something. I don't think that maybe probably they did it, but they probably ended up sending somebody, to do it. But I think it was both situation with the money and
Could be.
And that Annie was getting tired. But for my theory, really.
No, that's a good one.
Savannah does know who did it. Yeah, Savannah does know, who did it, but she doesn't want to, disgrace her family or send them to jail or anything. But I got a feeling that maybe she does know who did it.
Yeah, I mean, she lost her father at a young age. I lost my father at a young age. A lot of us on here have lost our and then all of a sudden now you have a mom, assuming she's with the Lord, and now you have the possibility of breaking up the family. Where do you go from here?
Right.
How do you function? I mean, of course you function and go on. That's what we need to do, and I advise that to everybody. We go through these rough times, but yeah, it could be very well that she knows in her heart, or again, the FBI said something that they said something, but they didn't say something. You know what I mean? It wasn't out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've said that too. It could be, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah. She probably don't want to, do that to her family, whoever ended up doing it, or maybe they send somebody else, to do it.
Right.
Because I know in my part it would be hard for me to kind of do it. Like if I found out that it was my sister or somebody in my family,
right.
It would be hard for me, to do that to them.
It would be hard for you to come out and tell the law enforcement, you know what, I want you to check something out. I really think they said something to me, to the FBI. I'm assuming, you would say you couldn't hold back. You saying you'd probably be hesitating. I see, for me, I don't care. I would come out. That's just me. But I say, hey, I don't care who the hell they are. I want justice for my mom or whoever it would be. But yeah, I understand though.
Yeah, or maybe Savannah, she'd also wanna do that if it was a family member. She found out about it, and she also don't want to go through that again either. She also was a mother, to be out there, with the back and forth too, knowing that her family member was the one that did it.
What about her talking to her husband? They go they go lay down in bed. They take a deep breath and they try to keep their minds off it. And maybe the husband says, "I'm referring to Savannah." What do you think, honey? What do you think? Think that Tommaso and Annie? I mean, do you think there's any? I'm sure there's got to be some discussion. Husbands and wives, they talk even on some horrific crimes like that. No, or two partners or whatever.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Don't make sense.
I know, all this sounds like, kind of strange, the way everything happened. And, and the sheriff not doing, messing up, not doing anything about it. They always come up with things.
I think that sheriff's going to be fine. I think the sheriff, and that's going to be, I'm giving you guys a sneak peek. I think his days are numbered within the next. I'm going to throw ready for this. I say 2 weeks he's gone.
Yeah.
I think
he needs to go.
He's going to go. Somehow they're going to make him an offer he can't refuse. But I'm talking more with the FBI. Well, let's hope that the FBI has a little bit more footage. We don't know. Maybe they don't. And it's good to see that Brian Itten's still talking about it. At least they're having their panel on like we have. And other channels are doing the same. And at least keeping the name out there. But I do also think, at first, I'm like, but maybe it's not good to go cold case. But maybe it is good. Start a whole new team. Start back round one. Fresh brains, different angles. Let's block everything else out like it's a whole new case. Like they just went on there and A, B, C, and D. Let's go.
Right, I agree with that.
Right? Let's take Tommaso out, A and T out, Savannah out of the picture, ex-boyfriend out of the picture, Church out of the picture. Let's go like we just started the case. And they might have done that already. I would be very surprised if they haven't started it 2 months ago and they're pretty close to that third quarter like a football game, and they're real close.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was nice, it was nice talking to you.
Hey, thank you.
I'm glad that you still, mentioning Nancy out there and all the other streamers too. I watch all the other streamers too in the nighttime. Alex and LA, JLR.
Yes.
And two sons.
Yes, they all have.
A little while ago, and Ted.
And Ted was on it, and everybody has different perspective, and some of us are changing our, which is okay, as well as the viewers like yourself. So, well, we all, on behalf of all the streamers and myself, we appreciate you. You have a good voice, and thank you. Let's hope for the best. Prayers for.
I live in Brooklyn, Park Slope.
Alex, what?
I live in Brooklyn, the section of Park Slope.
Okay.
It's not that far from Bay Ridge.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's a good guy. I met Alex. I met him. I hung out with him, went to dinner with him, JLR and Ted. They're all good guys. All different.
Yeah,
like all of us, we're all different personalities. And that's what's great about the YouTube and the streamers and criminal and that kind of stuff. You're going to get different perspectives, different personalities. If you don't particularly care for one or her, then move on to the next. So now Suzanne just says, thank you, Brooklyn. They love you. A nice caller, open-minded from Connie. Just getting a few back, couple,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Whiskey Tango just sent a flower to the chat. So.
Oh, that was nice.
Kara says interesting thought. So they all love you.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey, have
a good night.
You too. Bless you.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, great call. He has great calls tonight. Yeah, Natasha, great call. Victoria. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so a lot to digest again tonight, hearing from the previous caller and, of course, Laura, the psychologist. And we've had former police officers call. Allegedly, some think they weren't. I know for sure one was real. We've had an FBI supposedly call. We don't know. So we've had psychologists. We've had a psychic. We've had psychic call. So we haven't had a CSI. They won't call in, would they? CSI? We haven't had a sheriff call in. Love to hear from a sheriff. Sheriff, you want to call in, Nanos? Let's go. One-on-one, Nanos. Let's hear what you got to say. Where's Nanos? Nanos want to call in? Any other sheriff? Any other sheriff from any other state? Maybe you're retired, sitting back, having a cigar or a pipe. Call in. We would love to hear from you. Call on a private line. Yeah, I'd like to hear from a sheriff. Joyce, how are you? Good to see you. Nanos. Call in. I'll go visit him. I'll get him to talk. But he won't talk to anybody but the local news and low-budget radio stations. That's all he's talking to. And it's all script. He's already telling them the questions that he preferred to hear. That's all that's about. 90% of these, that's it. But forget Pima County. They're not going to solve this case. It's up to the FBI. I'm hoping it's a new FBI. Yeah, I would call in, Nanos. We'd like to hear from you. Explain yourself. Are we seeing something wrong? Is there something that, we need to know? Call in, Nanos. Lisa says JLR tried talking to him and he won't. Yeah, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. Find out if he likes cigars. I'm only kidding. Yeah, he just he gets in his sports car, his Corvette. God bless him. Hopefully he drives safe. We don't want no harm done. But man, he is a Scazziata in Italian. He's just horrible. So how could somebody be that damn stupid? When you're that stupid, you can't help to think that he's involved. Involved in a sense where he's turning his head over his shoulder to grab money. And I didn't see the interview room last night. Did anybody watch the interview room? But I think it was based on racketeer and money laundering and fraud. I did not watch it. I don't know. But I know he's not a good sheriff. I know people that work for him, other FBI, and they say he's just horrible. He has an ego. He makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. All sheriffs make mistakes. But this guy's made lots of mistakes in his lifetime before he was sheriff. So, somebody says he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Was it a good show, Connie? I think I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight a little bit. I liked our show last night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Sundays with Sal. We mixed things up a little bit. Thank you so much for the likes. We have another Crystal in the house. Hello, Crystal. Good to see you, my friend. I see you in other chat rooms as well as Kay. Good to see everybody on this Monday. Anita? Yeah, I think I'll watch it tonight. I think I like the interview room. I'm not just saying it, guys. I'm real picky. I like his voice. I like his wife. They analyze things. I mean, his wife was a journalist, and he was a former SWAT law detective, I believe. But they're not 100%. I mean, it's all on, at this point, what they think. Just like me, except, they worked. He lived in that. I like him because he's old school. I like how he says you can't depend on the damn DNA. Go out there and shake the bushes or shake the trees, I think he says. Yeah, they really do, Connie, compliment each other. They really do. Because you can be husband and wife and work out perfectly on everything else. But when it comes down to an interview or, a podcast, then things can go north and south. And I don't see that. She keeps everything A, B, C, and D. And he has a good soft-spoken voice. And but I'll watch it. See on the Racketeer. Palon, thank you so much. I feel so bad I didn't recognize Joe. I know Joe had to go to sleep. I am so sorry, guys, if I missed some of your comments. Wanted to get these calls, and wow, man, where's Nancy? Why did this happen? 6 months. Can you believe it? 6 damn months. 170 days. Anybody else want to call in? I'll take one more call. Anybody's been itching to call in and give us something, analyze, perspective, something we haven't heard maybe, or something we've heard you want to bring back to life, so to speak. Love to hear from you. I think old school sometimes is the way to go. I think old school before 1989 when DNA came out. Old school worked. Kara, old school worked. This is Sal. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, this is Sal.
Hey, this is Sean. I was watching your live, and I have a few things to put in on the Nancy Guthrie thing.
Go ahead, Sean. It's all yours.
All right, so I don't know if it's all been made public of this part, but from my understanding of everything that I've watched and looked into, the house through the front door. So he went up to the front door and dismantled the ring bell camera. The back door was propped open. So my theory on that is he removed the doorbell camera, went around to the back, went in, and I'm sure Miss Guthrie probably tried to put up a fight, and he hit her, and that's where the blood had came from. But he carried her through the front door and down the sidewalk.
Well, hold on. Back up a little bit. Hold on. So let's just back up. We have audience coming. So you don't think the perp that we're seeing, he never made it in that front door? Did I hear you right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But
he went in through the back.
he went around the side, went through the back, and then he greeted Nancy around that time, or a couple seconds in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then he went to take her out through the front door and had to have knocked her unconscious, or I would assume she would have been screaming, and somebody would have heard or seen, and then carried her down the walkway. Now, they are saying that they are looking for a Kia Soul.
Yeah.
There were several cameras, I guess, that seen a Kia Soul at a certain spot, the exact time her pacemaker went off.
Right. I heard that.
They've not found it yet, but this same Kia Soul went through like a back road or a side road to avoid the major highway where streetlights and cameras are that leads out of the Catalina foothills.
Right. I understand there's two ways in, though. Well, not exactly. I take that back. According to 857 Tucson, who has a YouTube channel, lives right there, there's actually several different ways. There's two main ways into the foothills, but there's other ways. So you're saying they went back to the back arteries, maybe? Some of those back artery streets?
Yeah. And a big concern that I have is whether Nanos physically had anything to do with it or not. Everything that he's done since day one has really screwed up the case as far as
well, he hasn't helped. He hasn't helped the case. We know that.
Right. If the suspect gets caught, then the suspect, I hate saying this, actually has a strong defense to defend themselves in court. Because him releasing the property back to the public
Mm-hmm.
covers up evidence. And we've all seen that, and we all understand that. So there is a legal term for any evidence found after, like, misconduct or something, some corruption or anything, called fruit of the poisonous tree. If they pull up evidence after, from the property anyway.
Are you an attorney?
Do what?
Are you an attorney?
No, I've studied law, and I
Okay.
am looking into going to college to get my law degree.
Okay, good. Go ahead, continue. Sorry.
So anything found in the house that was wrongfully released that leads to the suspect can be thrown out of court.
Mm-hmm.
Because the defense attorney can file a motion stating that it is considered fruit of the poisonous tree because the property was released and never should have been, and there's all kinds of other footprints, other hair follicles, other DNA on that property. So I'm hoping that Nanos gets his head out of his butt and lets the FBI do their job, because that will be the only way, in my opinion, that this is going to get solved correctly.
Right. Well, supposedly Nanos has stepped down, but he's been on local TV shows and radio stations. That tells me he's involved. In as far as involved in the case.
Yeah, last I heard, he was refusing everybody. He was. Last I heard, they now have to wait till November for, like, this emergency election thing to get him removed.
But the FBI can overstep that because it's a kidnapping case.
Oh, so they can step in on that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So it's just,
Well, thank God for that.
my opinion. I mean, it's just my perspective and the law enforcement I'm talking to. I think everyone is on the same page, and it's nothing to do with political. I think at this point, Nanos did make it political, but not to get into that. I think FBI knows that they also effed up, and they brought this. There's no way in hell they had to keep that same in it. Whether the Pima County blew it for the FBI, for me, Pima County certainly didn't help the FBI, but they fumbled the ball too. Let's be honest. FBI has fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Cash Patel, whatever. I don't want to make this politics. I'm a supporter of Cash Patel. He fumbled it. They fumbled it. Let's just be clear. And now and they had to bring in a whole new team and go A, B, C, and D. They probably brought that team in. I'm only guessing. I would have said 2 months ago. There's no way in hell they would wait this long. But if they did, if they haven't and they're listening, well, they better get to work.
Yeah. I did find out, so Nanos hit, so in order for a crime scene to be released, and I'm sure you know this, they have, whoever is releasing the crime scene has to give a written explanation to why. So Nanos, his explanation was, my team went in there and thoroughly went through everything, got everything they needed, so we didn't need the crime scene no more. If by chance my team needed to go back in there, we would get permission from the family.
Right.
It was his reasoning.
Right.
And then when everybody started dogging on him is when he decided to say, oh, well, I made a mistake.
Right.
So I don't want to take up your whole live, but that's kind of where I'm standing on all that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, this is a sheriff. This is out there. This isn't like the facts that they have. Here's a sheriff that's like 38 call-ins in his life. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the interview. There's a RICO charge out there. I mean, there's fraud going on. I mean, think about it. You got a sheriff who's just, and at the very worst, not used to any kind of crime like this and made plenty of mistakes and almost beat a prisoner to death. So he's got a kind of a horrible pass. And think about that. He's handling a kidnap, a homicide, handling one of the biggest cases in Tucson. It makes you think,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so. But hey, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for your perspective. You have a great voice. Everybody likes your voice. Nice, loud, and clear. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Good luck with the law. Don't stop.
All right. I appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so, it's crazy to think that you have a sheriff in Pima County handle one of the biggest cases in Tucson or even Arizona's had probably ever. Marissa, how are you? Yeah, great caller. Nice loud voice. Good to see everybody. If you're just coming in late, we had some good calls again. We had Laura. Some great call-ins again. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're just talking about the perp and turning his neck back and things I haven't picked up before. It seems like each time I watch it, I pick on. It's crazy that you can watch it 100 times. I don't know if I watched it 100 times, but let's say 50, and pick up something new on a 45-second video. We're also discussing, for those who are coming in late, why did he go right after the doorbell? Did he knock on the door? We're going to go back to Sal's theory. Was there somebody in that house? Was he notifying the other perp, his partner in crime, inside the house? Hey, I'm ready to go. Like the last caller. Did he go around the back? Met Nancy there or shortly after there. Struggled. But how's the blood go in the front? Took her around the side. Kept her in the sheet. Blood spilled. But what we do know, and I'm thinking that there's not much more, but there's probably another 10 seconds left of the video that the FBI hasn't exposed for obvious reasons, to give the people, and I continue to say people, plural, involved in this horrific 170 days. Where's Nancy? Why Nancy? In the foothills of Tucson, Arizona. Crazy. And by the way, speaking of that, I think they had some crime Saturday or Sunday. I believe somebody lost their life, a beautiful young lady. What is going on in Tucson? Well, it happens in a lot of states and cities, but it certainly doesn't help if anybody's going to move to Tucson after these things, or maybe people just look at it as, no problem. Yeah, I think it happened Saturday in Tucson. I believe one beautiful woman lost her life. What a shame. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. Anybody else? Anybody else feel like calling in? Giving us something based on what we've seen tonight, the video? Anybody just coming in? Want to see the video again very slowly? Mark, how are you? Good to see you, Mark. Paul Warner, how are you? All right, we can show it one more time. I'll show it one last time. I'll show it one last time. I know you guys have seen this. I like to play without sound or any kind of broadcast in the back. All right, let me go slow. I don't want to knock us offline, so bear with me. All right, so at this point, the perp is slowly. Now you can see he's on our left, walking on the sidewalk. Oh, excuse me, walking up the sidewalk. And I don't know why he's ducking, but he ducks. We've seen that many times. He goes right to the doorbell. Right to the doorbell. Ding, ding, rings the doorbell. Oops, I didn't quite get it. Rings it again. At least I think he is. I can be wrong. Now, next step, I'll go right to his right. Grab some bushes. Did you see that little look? Did you see that little look, guys? You're just coming to watch him. Right after he picks up the plants, watch him turn his head. Watch. Looks back real quick. What did he hear? Did he hear a dog? Did he see a flashlight? Did he see a car light? Did he drop something? What did he hear? This here is just a cover-up. When I say cover-up, he's covering up the camera. See that there, guys? You see how many times? See, that's what I mean. Look how many times, ladies and gentlemen. Not once. Not twice. Multiple times pushing something. I don't think he's trying to push the door. He would use two hands, yes or no? He's trying to ring the doorbell to notify somebody, or I could be completely off my rocker. Maybe he's not ringing the doorbell. Or if he is, maybe nobody's in the house. Maybe he's ringing it just to make sure 100% there's no one in that house, that Nancy's already gone. And this is all to throw Pima County FBI off, right? It's just just popped up. I'll throw everybody off. One more time. See, I don't see lights back there. I don't see that lights there. That's a reflection. I think that's a reflection from the camera. I think that's all that is. I never picked that up before. See, that backpack's not heavy. If it was heavy, it would be leaning all the way. I know it's leaning, but not a lot. There he goes, looks over his shoulder. See, that backpack didn't look heavy to me. Did that look heavy to you guys? Watch the backpack. Is that backpack leaning at all? I guess it is. Let's see. Wait a minute. So I don't think he has a lot of heavy stuff in there. I think Laura's right. Plastic. Watch. Take a look at the backpack real quick, guys. Look. If that's heavy, well, it is. It's off to the left a little bit. You know what? I mean, I don't think it's real heavy. Do you guys think that backpack weighs more than 10 pounds? Yes or no? Does that backpack weigh in more than 10 pounds in there? Because it's not leaning that much. Yeah, watch that backpack over here. I mean, it's coming off. That's not. Watch how he gets up nice. If that backpack was heavy, he would have a tough time getting back up. Yes or no? If that backpack was real heavy, unless he had a bad back, he wouldn't got up that quick. I don't care if he's 40 years old, 35 years old, or 55. And if he's not ringing the bell, what else is he doing, guys? I'm open. If he's not ringing the bell, what is he doing there? Now watch. See right there, that backpack was heavy right here. He goes all the way down. He bends his legs a little bit. Got right back up. I'm thinking that backpack was probably no more than, at the very most, 5 pounds. That backpack was not heavy, which tells me a bunch of plastic in there. Maybe some rope. Maybe rope. Maybe a flashlight. I doubt it, but maybe. You think there was tools in there? plastic. Somebody said tools. Maybe tools? Plastic and clothes? Looks over his shoulder. What was he looking at, guys? What the hell was he looking at? Duct tape? Trying to take the doorbell off because of the camera? Also, see how he walks up on your left, looking at the photo, and he switches his paths. Watch how he switches. He doesn't stay on the same track. If most of us were walking up, wouldn't we walk straight up to somebody's door? He changes his path of walk. You got to look very carefully. Okay, watch it again. Here he comes. Wait a minute. Watch. Guys, he walks. He's on that. Now, he changes to the middle all the way to the left of the house. He goes from the right of the sidewalk all the way to the left. Any law enforcement in here? Please call us and ask us your thoughts on that. Anybody in law enforcement. Why would he switch over to the other side? Is he covering up his footprints? Yes or no in the chat. Is he covering up his tracks? Watch. Was this guy an expert? Or well thought off? Watch. Here he goes. I'll go to the middle. I'll go all the way over. Interesting, huh? Anything else you guys want to bring out to my attention or our attention on here? Anything else you guys want to spot? Anything else you see? What else do we see? The video looks edited. I don't think so. I don't think so. Walked away from the camera. Walked away, trying to walk away from the camera. Fake. Keeping his face hidden. He has a ring on his pinky finger. Whoa! A ring on his pinky finger. How do you see that? How do you see that? A ring on his pinky finger. Welcome in, June. I don't know. I don't see the ring. I don't know how you can see. I'm trying. Ring. Right there, the ring. Is that a ring? Is that what you're seeing? Nobody else is missing. Good point. Good point. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm looking for the ring. They're going to solve it, Joyce. They're going to solve it. At least I think so. A pinky ring on. Paul says he would have simply used the duct tape instead of the weeds. He has long nails. Pat says, in my opinion, no ring. Pat says no ring. I'm having trouble seeing a ring. But what I do see is changing paths or changing steps. Changes his steps. I certainly see him ringing the door. Well, he's hitting something. He's hitting a button. The camera wasn't supposed to be working. They have Maureen Johnson. We were just discussing that 30 minutes ago. I believe that FBI has another, I'm saying 10 seconds, could be 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds of video. I think. And some of my FBI law enforcement friends agree. Except for one. Except for one. Yeah, oh my head. I thought when we seen this video that we were going to this was going to be solved like within the next 2 days. He walks away from the camera, he moves towards it. Yeah, I'm back. I'm getting like, my eyes are like, I thought when, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, sorry guys. I thought when we seen this all together that they finally got the footage from Google. I said, my goodness, they're going to break this case. I give it 48 hours. Matter of fact, I think I even said that. 72 hours. And here we are 6 months, 170 days, whatever you want to call it. Anita, have a good night. For those who are signing off, have a great night. Thank you for being here. Once again, we're trying to analyze this, slow it down. I know I didn't see the perp look over his shoulder before. Sweet Scorpio, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm that guy. Good night, Kara. What do you guys think, guys? I mean, we watched that now a few times. We heard from different perspective call-ins, psychologists. We heard from law enforcement from before. I never seen the perp go over his shoulder. Did he have a ring on? He looked back. What did he look back at? Was it wolves, coyotes, dogs, a light, a person, or was this just somebody who thought he heard something, See, I don't think, me personally, I don't think that perp never made it in the house. I believe that somebody was in that house and watching that tonight, because when I first watched this months ago, weeks ago, and that hand, that glove, trying to ring the bell, it wasn't making that connection, and then finally hit that bell, or maybe never hit the bell, and that was his time to let the other person that, I'm here, let's finish what we need to do. It's a shame. It's hard to even talk about this, but that's a possibility, or no possibility. Yeah, not really a good place for politics. Thank you for putting that out there. Thank you, Sweet Scorpio. Appreciate it. For those who are coming in, thank you so much. Watch me with JLR in Vegas. Where is Ted's wallet? He looks at the light in the right corner. Let's see here. Sal, was that bag behind him on the ground or on the ground? I thought it was behind him. Oh, it looked like he was trying to move the doorknob. Yeah, maybe. That's a possibility. He was turning something with his hand and then pulls back. Well, that's a possibility, user. That's a good I say hitting the bell. Some think he was trying to knock, but you can't really knock with a boxing glove on. It looks like a boxing glove. Sal, please respond to the video. With the other hand that didn't have the plan on it. Oh, so he was turning that knob? You think he was trying to turn the knob? Replay the video? Okay, we'll replay it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. All right, hold on. All right, ready? I'm looking, Connie. I'm looking. I'm looking, Connie. Yeah, I wear glasses. I don't see. Yeah, I think it's a planner. Diane, or excuse me, Connie. Yeah, I mean, it's a planner. Yes or no? I think it's a planner. The plant. Oh, behind that. Behind that. Oh, okay. Where? Right? Right there? Is that what you're saying? Hold on. Right there? It's really hard to... I can't make it out. Sir Daniel? You think he's turning the doorknob? Somebody said he's turning the doorknob. Do you guys see him turning the doorknob, or is he trying to hit the doorbell? That's a pot. Yeah, that's a pot. Linda says, yeah, I think I agree with Linda. That's a pot. I see a pot. Marissa says turning something. Turning something. So he's turning, not turning, but not touching. Turning, not pushing or touching. David says he's getting a key from the planner. A key. Kay says key too. Key entry. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Kay. I'm putting words in your mouth. Sorry. Key entry. Is he getting a key? Key entry? Yeah. It just... a couple things we do notice. He looks back, whether he's, yeah, I'm kind of getting dizzy too. I agree with Connie from The Godfather Part 1, 2, and 3. 2 was the best. It's tough. But a couple things we did pick up, or at least I did. Maybe a lot of you already picked it up. I didn't. A couple things I picked up was, A, he did look back. Not quick, it was a quick look back. 2, I don't see it turning for me. That's just me. I see push. I see it like, well, maybe a little turning. It's almost like I'm trying to hit something, like I'm trying to ring something. Next time I'll show it on the big screen, and I don't know how much more we'll see from the big screen. Maybe he turned the knob to see if the door would open. Yeah, that's a possibility too, Paul. Or excuse me, sorry, Shirley, it's getting late. That's a good possibility, Shirley. Yeah, Linda. But yeah, it starts to get you, it gets me kind of like a little dizzy. Now think about the FBI. How many times they've watched this? David says, why not showing him going in? Well, a couple things, David. Maybe he never went in, or maybe there's another footage out there that the FBI don't want to expose because they've been closed for the last month and a half, maybe 2 months, maybe even 3 months, David, that they just don't want to give the perp any kind of to recognize anything that anymore to show. Because once they show that, assuming that the perp are watching it, I'm sure they are, it can mess up the evidence. Maybe there's something that they have, the perp or the people who did this. Maybe there's something there that they have. If they show it, it can ruin up for the prosecution. There's so many things. I do think there's more to see. And unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see it until it goes to trial. But think about what the FBI, imagine their eyes, how many times they've watched it, Connie. Shirley, have a blessed rest of your Monday. And thank you, Shirley. I appreciate you. Have a great Monday night and Tuesday ahead. Mosquito got me again. I think they was trying to cover up the camera, his one hand, and check to see if the outside storm door or security door was unlocked. That's a good possibility too, Sir Daniel. That's a great possibility, Sir Daniel. George, how you doing? That's a great possibility, actually. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give that 2-minute warning, and here comes the booze, but the 2-minute warning for you guys to say goodnight to or chit-chatting among each other. How's that elbow, Sal? It's a little bit better, Kay. Unfortunately, Kay, thank you for asking, first of all, Kay. I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, I have another trainer who went through this, and I was hoping everything I said to her, Kay, and you can laugh. I said, so you had your tricep torn? She goes, yeah. I said, mine was black and blue. Was yours? She goes, no. I said, you had surgery? Yes. And she goes, I had trouble waking up after surgery. I go, whoa! I don't want to hear that. And she was trying to be helpful. But you asked me a question, I rattle on it. It feels better. I have an MRI Wednesday. MRI will take when I need the surgery. I'm assuming surgery will be next week or week after, I'm hoping, if I need surgery. But thanks. It just started to hurt now, where the other night it was hurting every 15 minutes. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign. I don't know. Or no sign. That's okay, Pat. It's not a big deal. I mean, I just get it done, and as long as I can work. That's the main thing. I want to work. I want to work. I probably tore the Paul, the tendon. The tendon on a tricep is like an Achilles tendon. It's like this. When you tear it, if it's close, then a tendon can be put back together with surgery. But if it's too far apart, it just recedes, and then you lose strength of your arm like 60%. So it's at some point I'm going to need surgery. Unless it's a miracle and the MRI shows it's only a portion. Natasha, always good to see you. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much. Prayers. I want to come on and say, boom, they got the evidence. They got the guy. They got the people involved. But thank you so much, guys. I appreciate we've been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I really enjoy these lives. Thank you so much for sharing these lives, the shorts. Once again, we help out the homeless. I had a good one out today. I have another one tomorrow. 2 elderly men, not real old, very thankful. Got one into a shelter today. He wanted privacy, so he didn't want to show the whole thing, so I had to respect that. But there is a short showing him accepting some food and drinks. I have a confession. My wife is upset. She said, I noticed that I gave you 2 bananas, 2 sandwiches, and 2 waters. I said, yeah. She goes, you gave out 2 sandwiches? Yes. You gave out 2 waters? Good job. And 1 banana. What happened to the other banana? Well, guys, I'm going to call myself out because I call out the President of the United States out. I ate the banana. I was hungry. She's never do that again. I said, I'm sorry. So anyhow, guys, all I can do is try, but we help out on homeless when we can. Thank you so very much, guys. God bless you and your family. Remember, guys, you might be going through a financial problem. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe it's a medical problem. Maybe it's a broken bone or a tear tendon, whatever it might be, a late electric bill. Remember, there's a light through that tunnel. Things will get better. It always does. Enjoy your life. Love yourself before you can love anybody else. Thank you so much for being here. Good night. Palon, love you, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. If I missed any of the names tonight, guys, please don't hate me for it. I do the best I can, but thank you. Good night. Love you, Kay. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Joyce. Take care, guys. God bless. Victor, always good to see you, my friend. Take care, guys.